I'm looking in the glass at the break of day, seeing all the lines and the shades of gray, trying to find some grace in the tired eyes before the morning sun begins to rise. Because I can't pour water from an empty cup, but lift a falling brother if I won't stand up. It starts in the center, it starts in the soul, learning how to love and to make it whole. It's a quiet vibration, a pulse in the wall, hearing the echo of a stranger's call. The same kind of hunger, the same kind of beat, underneath the rhythm of the city street. Love your neighbor as yourself, baby, don't you see? It's the golden logic of the chemistry. The man across the hall, the girl across the way, they're just a different version of your own today. Yeah, it's a circle of soul, a magnificent line, where your peace of mind is also mine. The funk is in the kindness, the jazz is in the care, finding the connection in the midnight air. He's not a stranger, he's a mirror in the dark, carrying a piece of the very same spark. If you find a little mercy for the things you've done, pass it to the neighbor like the morning sun. The world is just a neighborhood, wide and deep, with a shared kind of promise that we ought to keep. You know, we treat it like a chore, like an obligation. Love your neighbor, but look at the second half of the sentence as yourself. That's the key, that's the secret groove. If you're at war with the person in the mirror, you're gonna be at war with the person next door. You gotta find that rhythm at home first. Find the grace for your own mistakes. Then look out the window, everyone you see, they're just you, living a different story. It's one big jam session. Tune your heart, then play along. The man across the hall, the girl across the way, they're just a different version of your own today. In this lo-fi space, we find the how, launching the kindness right here and now. The neighbor is you. Yourself next door. One love. clock on the wall says it's nearly 4. Scattered blueprints all across the floor. They see the light bulb, they see the glow, but they don't see the way the shadows grow. A single moment when the lightning struck. They call it talent or they call it luck, but the ink is dry and the coffee's cold from 1,000 stories that remain untold. It's a quiet vibration, slow burning heat, the steady rhythm of the city street. The vision is a ghost, a flickering sign, until you put your soul on the bottom line. Genius is a flash, just a tiny little spark, 1% of light in the middle of the dark. But 99 is the sweat and the soul, the heavy lifting that makes it whole. Yeah, it's the perspiration, the grind in the bone, making the miracle all on your own. The funk is in the effort, the jazz is in the grit, knowing how to work it and never how to quit. 100 failures in a wooden drawer before you find the key to the final door. It's the muscle and the memory, the pulse in the wrist, working through the shadows and the morning mist. The brilliance isn't free, it's a debt you pay in the lonely hours of the working day. You know, everyone wants that aha moment, the sudden burst of glory, the lightning in a bottle. But Edison, he knew the secret of the groove. Inspiration, that's just the invitation. That's the easy 1%. The real genius, that's the 99. It's the tired eyes, the sore hands, the long, slow climb. It's the sweat on your brow when the world is fast asleep. That's where the master lives, in the perspiration. Keep grinding. Genius is a flash, just a tiny little spark, 1% of light in the middle of the dark. But 99 is the sweat and the soul, the heavy lifting that makes it whole. In this lo-fi space, we find the art, standing steady, standing tall. The grind is the glory, baby. Let it roll. 1% dream, 99 reality. The work is done. Check the calendar, check the heavy clock. Walking down the street in a suit of gray rock. The numbers are steady, the meeting was long, but something is missing from the rhythm of the song. You haven't let the spirit catch a single spark, just drifting through the daylight heading for the dark. A serious face for a serious town, while the weight of the silence starts to pull you down. It's a quiet vibration, the glitch in the plan, a little bit of medicine for the modern man. It doesn't cost $1, doesn't cost a dime to find the golden frequency inside the time. A day without laughter, baby, don't you know, is a day that's gone wasted with nowhere to go. A day without laughter is a hole in the soul, a broken down engine with no ultimate goal. Yeah, fly free. It's the only way to live in the minor key. The jazz is in the irony, the funk is in the grin. Let in a little bit of sunlight through the skin. The joke in the elevator, smile in the rain, washing away the static and the phantom pain. Why be a statue when you can be a soul? Finally giving up the heavy, tight control. The sun doesn't judge the way that you play, so don't throw the hours of the miracle away. You know, we're so busy being important, balancing the ledgers, checking the boxes, chasing the someday, while the right now slips through our fingers. But Charlie, he knew the secret of the groove. If you didn't find one moment to let a laugh escape your chest, if you didn't see the comedy in the chaos, well, you just threw 24 hours in the trash. Don't let the clock win. Crack a smile, let it out. You know, is a day that's gone wasted with nowhere to go. A day without laughter is a hole in the soul, a broken down engine with no ultimate goal. Don't waste it, don't waste it. In this lo-fi space we find the awe, standing steady, standing tall. The laughter is the treasure, baby. Let it roll. Don't waste it. Don't waste it. Don't waste the day. Don't waste it. Let the spirit out. Just laugh. The clock is ticking in the velvet dark, looking for a flicker, looking for a spark. The world is heavy and the road is wide, with nowhere left for a heart to hide. They tell you the game is over and done, that you've lost the race before it's begun. But as long as the pulse is in your wrist, there's a beautiful path in the silver mist. It's a quiet vibration, a shift in the view between the no more and the something new. The only wall is the one you build in the empty space where the music's chilled. If you don't give up, you still have a chance, baby, to join the rhythm and the soul's romance, baby. But giving up is the greatest failure of all. The only way you truly start to fall, yeah. Stay in the groove, stay in the light. The door is still open in the middle of the night. The jazz is in the trying, the funk is in the grit. Not the moment you stumble, but the moment you quit. A mistake is just a note played a little bit wrong. It doesn't mean you have to stop the song. Success is a mountain made of not yet, in a world full of worry and cold regret. But the winner is the one who refuses to go while the river is high and the winds start to blow. You know, we're so afraid of losing. We're so scared of the not quite. or the try again. But Jack, he knew the secret of the groove. Losing isn't the problem. Losing is just data. It's just a lesson in a minor key. The real disaster, the only true failure, that's when you take your hands off the keys. That's when you walk away from the mic. As long as you're standing, you're winning. As long as you're breathing, the game is still on. Don't close the book yet. If you don't give up, you still have a chance, baby, to join the rhythm and the soul's romance, baby. Giving up is the greatest failure of all. The only way you truly start to fall. Keep it going. In this lo-fi space, we find the art. Standing steady, standing tall. The persistence is the treasure, baby. Let it roll. Don't give up. The door is open. Still got a chance. The sky is heavy and the road is long. Sometimes it's hard to find the words for the song. The shadows stretching across the wooden floor, feeling like a stranger at your own front door. The world is noisy and the mountains high, underneath the cold and a starless sky. But the story isn't over, the ink isn't dry. There's a flickering light in the corner of your eye. It's a quiet vibration, a shift in the tone, a little seed of hope that's finally grown. It doesn't have to be a giant leap of faith, just a steady rhythm in a quiet space. However difficult the life may seem to be, there's always something, baby, don't you see? Something you can do, something you can win. A brand new chapter waiting to begin. Yeah, find that little spark, let the rhythm flow. There's always a place where you can start to grow. The jazz is in the action, the funk is in the soul. Finally letting go of the need for control. One small note, one steady hand, planting a flower in the desert sand. It might be a whisper, it might be a touch, but the smallest thing can mean so much. Success is a journey of 1,000 small beats, walking with a smile through the lonely streets. You know, sometimes the walls feel too thick, the air feels too thin. We look at the darkness and think that's the whole picture. But Stephen, he saw the stars from a chair. He knew that even in the silence there's a frequency. Even in the stillness there's a move you can make. Don't look at the locked doors, look at the open window. There is always something you can do. And man, when you find it, that's when the music really starts. However difficult the life may seem to be, there's always something, baby, don't you see? Something you can do, something you can win. A brand new chapter waiting to begin. Always something here. You can do it. Stay in the groove. Look at the stars. In this lo-fi space, we finally all standing steady, standing tall. The success is in the trying, baby, let it roll. There's always something, just do it, you're free. I was looking for a master, looking for a sign to draw me a map in a straight, clear line. I stood at the temple, I sat by the stream, waiting for a phantom to fulfill the dream. But the stone didn't move and the water just ran, leaving the work to the heart of the man. The ancient voices are a beautiful sound, but they don't lift your feet up off the ground. It's a quiet vibration, a shift in the bone, realizing the journey is yours alone. The compass is steady, the stars are in sight, but you're the one moving through the dark of the night. You yourself must strive, baby, don't you see? In this lo-fi world of pure responsibility, the Buddha's only point, they only show the way to the golden light at the end of the day. Yeah, the finger points the path, but the road is yours, opening the locks on the internal doors. The jazz is in the effort, the funk is in the stride, finding the mountain that's living inside. Wisdom is a lantern, a flickering flame, but it won't walk the miles or call out your name. Every breath is a labor, every step is a choice, giving the silence a physical voice. You can't borrow the spirit or at least the soul, you've got to be the one to take the control. You know, we spend a lot of time looking at the finger pointing to the moon. We worship the hand, the gesture, the direction. But don't mistake the pointing finger for the moon itself. And don't think the moon is gonna come down and carry you. The great ones, they cleared the brush, they left the markers. They did the work so you know it was possible. But they can't breathe for you, they can't bleed for you, and they certainly can't walk for you. The path is clear. Now, what are you waiting for? You yourself must strive, baby, don't you see? In this lo-fi world of pure responsibility, gotta strive, you gotta strive, yeah. Take the step, they showed you how. Now do it, stay in the groove. In this lo-fi space, we find the how. Launching the miracle right here and now. The road is yours, baby, let it roll. Strive. Point the way, walk on. I've been pushing at the mountain with my shoulder to the stone, trying to shift the heavy weight of the world all on my own. Brute force and a heavy heart, sweating in the sun, thinking that the struggle was the way the work was done. But the planet didn't tremble and the earth didn't sway. I was just a weary traveler getting in my own way, until I saw the physics, until I found the line in the quiet architecture of a mechanical design. It's a quiet vibration shifting the view between the can I do and the something new. It isn't about the muscle, it isn't about the size, it's about the hidden angle right before your eyes. Give me a level long enough, baby, don't you see? And a fulcrum steady for the geometry. Place it on the center, let the rhythm start to curl, and with the single finger I shall move the world. Yeah, give me the distance and give me the place to move the heavy mountain into open space. The jazz is in the balance, the funk is in the reach, learning what the simple laws of nature have to teach you. You don't need a million men to turn the tide around, you just need the right perspective on the solid ground. One point of influence, one strategic touch can turn a little bit of power into something much. I'm looking for the pivot, I'm looking for the key to unlock the heavy shackles of the world's gravity. You know, we spend so much energy fighting the friction, grunting, straining, trying to force the world to change. But the universe doesn't respond to force, it responds to mechanics. Archimedes, he had it figured out back in the bath. It's not about how hard you push, it's about where you stand and what you use. Find your lever, find your truth, find that one solid point you can lean on. Once you find the pivot, the whole world just slides into place. Watch me move it. The stage is empty and the house is still. I'm sitting here with a focused will, checking the wires in the hidden light before the circus enters the night. They're out there dancing in the hazy sun, but I'm counting the steps before we've begun. If you want the harvest, you gotta seed the ground before the heavy thunder starts coming round. It's a quiet vibration, a mental rehearsing, while the rest of the world is just improvising. The map is open and the ink is dry underneath the focused and a violet sky. By failing to prepare, baby, don't you see? You're just preparing to fail in the first degree. It's the silent work, the behind the scenes, the steady oiling of the big machines. Yeah, the win is in the waiting, the victory's in the plan, before the first hour even hits the hand. The funk is in the homework, the jazz is in the mind, leaving the chaos and the static behind. You can have the talent, you can have the soul, but without the blueprint, you won't reach the goal. I see them rushing with no place to go, tripping on the rhythm of their own shadow. But I've got the timing and I've got the key, locked in the vault of my own strategy. You know, everyone wants the applause. Everyone wants the lights, the noise, the eureka moment. But Ben knew the secret of the long game. The battle isn't won when the swords are drawn. It's won in the workshop, in the library, in the middle of the night when you're doing the math. If you don't build the foundation, the house is just an accident waiting to happen. Don't just show up. Be ready. By failing to prepare, baby, don't you see? You're just preparing to fail in the first degree. It's the silent work, the behind the scenes, the steady oiling of the big machines. In this lo-fi space we find a how, launching the future right here and now. The blueprint is the beauty, baby. Let it roll. Preparing to win. Check the list. Ready. They're waiting on a shooting star, a lucky roll at the corner bar, counting on the wind to blow 'em home. Wander in the desert all alone. They call it magic when the lightning hits, a sudden burst of glory and wits. But the spark only catches where the wood is dry, underneath a focused and a watchful eye. It's a quiet vibration, a shift in the field, waiting for the mystery to be revealed. But you gotta know the pattern, gotta know the sign to see the diamond in the dusty mine. Fortune favors the prepared mind, baby. seed that finally grew in the soil that was tended by the likes of you. The likes of you. The jazz is in the vision, the funk is in the weight, polishing the lens before it's too late. While the others are sleeping through the golden hour, you're building up the wisdom and the quiet power. So when the window opens and the light pours in, you're already standing where the winners begin. Chance is a stranger who only stays with the one who's been ready for 1,000 days. You know, people love to talk about the big break, like it's some kind of cosmic accident that just falls out of the sky. But Pasteur, he saw the hidden rhythm. The universe is throwing out signals all the time, little whispers of opportunity. But if your ears aren't tuned to the frequency, it's just noise. You don't get lucky. You make yourself available for luck to find you. Keep the books open, keep the mind sharp. When the moment arrives, you won't have to ask what to do. Fortune favors the prepared mind, baby, and in the cool vibrations of the midnight air. It's not an accident, it's not a ghost. It's being ready when it matters most. In this lo-fi space, we find the all standing steady, standing tall. The readiness is the treasure, baby, let it roll. Fortune favors, the mind is ready, the groove is set. You're counting minutes on a silver watch, keeping your life locked with a double notch. Walking through the day like a shadow on the wall, afraid to stumble, afraid you might fall. You keep the window shut to stay away from the cold, playing it safe until the story is old. But a heart that's beating isn't always alive if you're only staying quiet just to survive. It's a quiet vibration, a shift in the light. The shadow at the end isn't the fight. The enemy isn't the sunset or the gray. It's the sunrise you missed along the way. It is not death that a man should fear, baby, no. Not the final curtain or the end of the show. But he should fear never beginning to live with no love to take and no soul to give. Yeah, don't fear the silence at the end of the line. Fear the empty space in the middle of the design. The jazz is in the daring, the funk is in the breath. The real tragedy is a lifelong death. Living like a ghost in a suit and a tie, afraid to let the spirit reach for the sky. If you never felt the fire, if you never felt the rain, if you never let the rhythm take away the pain, then in the end is just a whisper on an empty page, a bird that never flew from a golden cage. You know, we spend so much time looking at the exit sign. We worry about the dark, the quiet, the someday. But Marcus, he saw the groove in the now. Death, that's just a natural frequency, it's part of the song. But to walk through the world with your heart closed, to never say the words, never take the chance, never actually start, that's the real nightmare. Don't be afraid of the end. Be afraid of never truly being here. Wake up. Beginning to live with no love to take and no soul to give. In this lo-fi space, we find the all standing steady, standing tall, standing steady, standing tall, standing steady. The beginning is the treasure, baby, let it roll. Your mind is a traveler on a broken track, looking at the ghosts that aren't looking back, tangled in the wires of a was and a might, searching for a sun in the middle of the night. You're borrowing the hunger of a day not born, and mending the seams of a coat already worn. But the walls of the palace are right where you stand, not in the shadow or the shifting sand. It's a quiet vibration, a narrowing light, bringing the blurry into focus and sight. The static is fading, the fever is done, finding the rhythm of the only one. Confine yourself to the present, baby, yeah. In this tiny moment, there's no room for fear. Just this breath, just this beat, just this flow. Letting the was and the will be go, yeah. Lock the door on the wind in the haze. Confine yourself to the now and the blaze. The jazz is in the instant, the funk is in the stay, the absolute beauty of the everyday. If you're living in a maybe, you're living in a ghost, missing the taste of the wine and the toast. The present is a fortress, a sweet little cage, where the ink is still wet on the living page. It's not a prison, it's a diamond mine, where the tick of the second is the only line. You know, we treat the now like it's a waiting room, a transit lounge on the way to somewhere better. But Marcus, he saw the groove in the narrow space. The past, that's an old record you can't replay. The future, that's a stage that hasn't been built. But right here,
between these four walls of time. This is the only place where the music is real. Stop reaching. Stop mourning. Just stay. Confine yourself to this one beautiful beat.
I see you tracing lines in the morning light, tracing the shadows of a master's flight. A mirror image, a polished reflection, searching for grace in a borrowed direction. The colors are right and the rhythm is there, but it's a ghost of a ghost in the midnight air. A clever echo, a beautiful mime, just a footprint left in the sands of time. It's a quiet vibration, a shift in the hand between the imitation and the promised land. The surface is steady, the surface is clean, but there's a deeper fire that's yet to be seen. Good artists copy, baby, they play it by the book. They give the world a familiar look, but great artists steal. They take it to the bone, they breathe in the spirit and make it their own. Yeah, it's a soulful heist, a divine transformation, turning the spark into a brand new creation. Jazz is in the alchemy, the funk is in the soul, taking the pieces to make a new whole. You don't just take the shape or the outer skin, you reach for the heartbeat that's buried within. Make it your blood, make it your breath, a love that is stronger than silence or death. Your fingerprints all over the old design, till the borrowed light starts to truly shine. You know, people get nervous when you talk about stealing. They think it's about the crime, the shortcut, the easy way. But Picasso, he knew the secret of the groove. Copying, that's just staying on the outside, that's just a mask. But to steal, that's to internalize, to eat the light, to let the masters live inside your own pulse. When you steal it right, it disappears. It's no longer theirs, it's you. It's your history, your pain, your funk. Don't just follow the path, take the path and build your own city on top of it. copy, baby. They play it by the book. They give the world a familiar look, but great artists steal. They take it to the bone. They breathe in the spirit and make it their own. Make it your own, yeah. In this lo-fi space, we find the all. Standing steady, standing tall. The theft is the tribute, baby. Let it roll. Good artist copy. Great artist steal. Now it's mine. Shadows dancing on the ledge of sheet, patterns forming on the city street. We're drifting through the hazy purple blur, forgetting exactly who and where we were. But when you shine a light upon the gray, the ghosts of the static start to fade away. If you don't see the map, you cannot find the road. You're just a traveler with a heavy, nameless load. It's a quiet vibration, a shift in the view, turning the old into the something new. The moment you name it, the moment it's real, is the moment you put your hand upon the wheel. What gets measured gets managed, baby, yeah. In the cool vibrations of the midnight air. If you count the heartbeat, you can find the soul, the steady rhythm that makes the vision whole. Yeah, the numbers are a language, the data is a song, showing you exactly where you truly belong. The jazz is in the detail, the funk is in the count, watching the tiny little fractions start to mount. If the beat is dragging, you gotta know the why. Underneath the velvet of a cold and distant sky, awareness is the power, the focus is the key, unlocking the logic of the mystery. You can't fix the engine if the gators are all dead. You gotta hear the message that the meter just said. You know, we like to hide in the I don't know. We think if we don't look at the numbers, they don't exist. But the fog doesn't protect you. It just makes you lose your way. Peter knew the secret of the groove. If it's invisible, it's uncontrollable. But the second you write it down, the second you measure the distance, or the time, or the heart, that's when you own it. That's when you manage the chaos. Don't be afraid of the count. The count is your friend. It's managed, baby, yeah. In the cool vibrations of the midnight air. If you count the heartbeat, you can find the soul, the steady rhythm that makes the vision whole. In this lo-fi space, we find the all. Standing steady, standing
manage the flow, measured and true.
Staring at the ceiling in the blue-hour haze, lost in the map of the not enough maze. A phantom king sitting on a mental throne, dictating the seeds that the spirit has sown. Counting all the highlights on a stranger's screen, feeling like a ghost in a world of the scene. The weight isn't heavy, but it never lets go. A quiet vibration that's running the show. It's a quiet vibration, a glitch in the glass, watching the parade of the miracles pass. A hunger that whispers in the back of the brain, a thirst for the sun in the middle of the rain. The feeling of inferiority, baby, yeah, rules the mental life in the midnight air. In the sense of incompleteness, we find the sign. In the unfulfillment, we draw the line. Yeah, it's the ruler of the shadow, the master of the doubt, trying to find a peace that the heart's without. The jazz is in the hollow, the funk is in the gap, trying to escape from the internal trap. A masterpiece sketch with a corner torn out, searching for the light through the static of doubt. You can build a mountain, you can buy the sun, but you're still looking back at the things left undone. It's the engine of the struggle, the drive in the veins, trying to break free from the invisible chains. You know, we think we're fighting the world outside. We think we're chasing a trophy, a title, a more. But Adler, he saw the ghost in the machine. This hunger, this sense of being less than. It's the invisible ruler of the inner kingdom. You can recognize it in the way you never feel quite finished, in the way success feels like a room with no furniture. It's not a curse, it's just the starting line. But if you don't name the king,